Hello everybody, and I think it's pretty safe to say that LEGO Marvel really has not been good this year. Now I know everyone's gonna be like, but what about DC? Yeah, look, DC sucks too this year. The theme really is in its flop era right now. Now I'm a really big fan of LEGO Marvel, so seeing this happen is quite frankly incredibly disappointing, especially coming off of what I think was by far one of the best years of LEGO Marvel to date. We had the Daily Bugle D2C, we had the Giant Benatar, we had the Infinity Saga wave. The Shang-Chi sets were overall really good. The Eternal sets as well were like pretty solid despite the fact that they were repetitive, and overall I left 2021 really excited and really hopeful for the future, and now I don't even know if LEGO Marvel is going to be in like my top 3 themes that I buy going forward into 2023. It's just, it's not good. Now that the Black Panther D2C has been revealed, we're really only waiting for one more Black Panther set, which some figures of that have leaked, and honestly even at this point I don't think it's going to save the theme. So today I thought I would rank all of this year's LEGO Marvel sets on a tier list and just look over its flop era and just see how overall disappointing it was. The bottom of this tier list is quite frankly just no, it's very straightforward, I don't really have to explain it. The second lowest is what are we doing? Again, pretty self-explanatory, and I feel like it's probably going to be the most populated, unfortunately. In the middle, we've got good but could be better, of course inspired by the Wonder Woman meme. The second highest is add to cart. Look, chances are you're probably going to buy these sets and you're probably going to really enjoy them. And then the top is of course modern art, which really I'm pretty sure you could rank majority of the 2021 wave in that tier. So really that's the standard we're going for, and let me tell you, not many of these sets are going to reach that. Kicking off the year, we had a major disappointment, which was the Buildable Iron Man figure. Now, not having a minifigure for me personally turns me off. I'm a big minifigure fan, so not having one, why was I gonna buy this set? Because the build just quite frankly looks really awkward and really weird. I mean, I get it, like kids like buildable figure action figures, but then again, like look at the buildable figure line from Star Wars, which like is a complete flop, and still some of those sets lurk around on shelves to this day. So like, why are we replicating that? Overall, the build looked weird to me. Even just looking at it in the LEGO store, I was like, ew, kind of hate it. Overall, I'm not a huge fan, but I don't think it was like the worst thing ever, because like for Iron Man it made sense, so I'm gonna chuck him in what are we doing. The second and only other set to release in January was the Gargantos Showdown, which overall I loved this set. It was very refreshing. It was still like a buildable creature sort of thing, but it didn't feel like stuff that we'd gotten before. It felt very original, very creative, very accurately as well represented the monster from the movie, which really wasn't that special. I mean, looking back, admittedly, like there's all the spoiler stuff for Marvel, so there's probably a lot that they couldn't make. I feel like something else from that movie probably would have been better, but it was a great set. Like you got the figures that you needed. Overall, this set was really good. I'm gonna chuck that in add to cart. Next up, we have my favorites, and I'm just gonna talk about all 3 of these at once. We have the range of mechs, including the Black Panther mech, the Iron Man mech, and Wolverine. Firstly, all of these sets were delayed because there was a fundamental design flaw in their hips that made their joints incredibly weak. Lowest on this list though is Iron Man. We don't need another Iron Man mech. We already got him. Look, he's going in no. It was a wasted spot. At this point, the mechs are really the only like comic book versions of things that we've gotten, so the fact that we wasted it on Iron Man, not good. I also just realized I did actually forget one set on this list, which was the Spider-Man and like Green Goblin mech. Not a big fan of them. I mean, the mechs were fine. If I remembered to put them in this list, they would be going in what are we doing? But they're not. So the one that we're gonna put in there instead is Black Panther. I mean, overall, like the Black Panther mech, really the only thing that I'm annoyed about it with is the fact that it takes the same blueprint of mechs. It's really kind of boring. I mean, the Black Panther design really didn't scream Black Panther to me. Like I feel like it could have been a little bit better. And then the only one I cared about of course was Wolverine because of the Wolverine minifigure, so he's going in good but could be better because we have a great character, a character we haven't gotten in ages. It's a nice comic book version. You're buying it for the minifigure. Overall the mech design did feel really good. I love the Wolverine claws, but I think they should have been shorter, and overall it just would have been nicer to have a tiny X-Men set rather than a mech. So yeah. Thor's hammer. Now this is a set that I really liked at first. I just got tired of this set very quickly. I looked at it, I built it, and I was like, actually this is really, really plain. The Thor minifigure has the same face as like him in Endgame, which to me is like really inaccurate. Like the Odin's builds are pretty cool, but like they didn't show you how to actually put them in the hammer. And then the hammer overall, look, it looks good, but it's just really basic, and like it just overall wasn't a good set in hindsight. I think the Thor Love and Thunder popcorn buckets were probably better. I'm chucking that in the middle. This one we're not even going to talk about. The fact that it was revealed at an airport, honestly, I think is the most exciting thing about this set. We're throwing it in no. I don't even remember what it's called. Continuing on with our Thor line of things, we have the minifigure pack for this year, which honestly I really liked. My highlights for this one were definitely having Korg as a minifigure, but also having like the buildable Meek thing. Like I thought that was pretty smart because it meant technically we got another character, but it didn't require any like exclusive prints. Honestly, really liked it, add to cart. The goat boat, again, I don't really have anything against this set. I mean, I bought it just for the minifigures and I was like, yeah, the set's cool, but I don't really care enough about it to put it on my display, so I sold it. So for that regard, I don't necessarily want to say add to cart, but I did think it was like pretty solid. Like it was a lot more promising, probably one of the stronger independent sort of like movie sets. There was no way I was going to buy it at full price, but like I'm glad that I did sort of get to see it, experience it, and then get rid of it. All right, let's talk about the Nano Gauntlet for a second. Now, I don't actually think I've seen this in person yet. I haven't seen it at any LEGO stores from memory. All I've seen is the really bad rendered images, which honestly look fake. They don't look real. They look like a fan did them, and even then I've seen fan renders that look far better than this. Then again, LEGO's got that problem like across the board with all of their themes. I don't care about it. I get why, you know, oh, it's a big moment from Endgame, but like it was literally shown for like 2 seconds. I think the Infinity Gauntlet was cool because of the gold lacquering. This is just like kind of boring to me, honestly. I'm torn between putting it in good but could be better, because like I think the build overall is like, it looks good, I think, but then I'm gonna put it in what are we doing? Let's put some positivity in here and talk about Groot for a second. I severely underestimated Groot when he first like got revealed. I was like, look, he looks cool, a little bit creepy in the renders. And then I decided, you know what, I'll buy it, I'll build stream it, I'll do a video, and then I'll sell him. And then after I built him, I could not part with that thing. I love the tape that goes with him as well. Like I thought that was just gonna be like a pathetic side build, but it looks really cool actually in my Marvel display. Overall, this set was amazing, and the fact that it came in like that jewel pack and was like really good value makes me love it even more. He is modern art. Speaking of that jewel pack, the other set sucks. I recently built it and it was really bad. The only reason I bought it is because it was easier for me to get like the 3 minifigures I wanted out of it, and it was like pretty cheap. So I was like, all right, I'll just part out the rest of it. I'll keep the car because like I like that. I like some of the sticker prints, but like this set feels so disjointed. Like it's just a ton of tiny little segments all thrown together, and I hate that. Like it's just not as good as a design as the original Hall of Armor sets. Those ones I think were fantastic. This doesn't really match that. Like the stickers are great, the minifigures, and that's without even mentioning the price of $100 US. This thing is an absolute rip-off. I am not a fan. Don't buy it. Now look, firstly, when I heard rumors about like 3 Spider-Man sets last year and everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's No Way Home, like even then I heard that I was like, I don't think it's gonna be No Way Home. Like everyone was getting their hopes up and everything. So, you know, when they revealed it and it was more buildable characters, look, I wasn't overly disappointed because I didn't expect No Way Home, but I was still disappointed because I was like, why are we doing this? The only one that looks somewhat good is Venom, and for that reason, I'm not gonna put him in the bottom tier. However, Spider-Man and Miles Morales look ridiculous. They don't look human, and I think that's why Iron Man was better. Who is buying these? So yeah, in summary, they're going on the bottom. This is sad. All right, let's talk about Black Panther for a second. Now, these sets haven't come out yet, so I haven't been able to see them in person or something, or experience them in any way, shape, or form. However, I'm pleasantly surprised with these sets. It's a bit more, I think, exciting than some of the other sets that we've gotten this year, but it sort of still follows the theme of like, hey, we're not doing that good. Firstly, this like underwater, like mid-rear one, I don't remember this name at all. I'm probably not gonna buy it, but overall, I really like the design for it. I love the detail for the throne. The minifigures are fantastic. Overall, it just feels really, really good. I'm gonna chuck that in add to cart, though keep in mind, I'm not gonna buy that set myself. Next up is Shuri's Songbird, and honestly, I really liked this one. It was my favorite when I first saw them, and then I took a closer look at them and I was like, actually, this isn't as good as I thought, but it's still a really solid set. The design does look a little bit janky right now, but I'm impressed. Then again, my standards are now on the floor. Now, by far my favorite, and I'm sure a lot of other people's favorite set out of this year, is by far the Sanctum Sanctorum. I saw this build for the first time in the LEGO store a couple of weeks ago, and I was blown away. When this set got revealed at LegoCon, I lost my absolute marbles. I'm not surprised that it's designed by Justin Ramsden. He has done like so many of my favorite sets of all time. The only thing I hate about it is the minifigure selection and the fact that like the building, I guess, has too much of an alleyway at the back. But the alleyway thing, look, I can glance over the minifigures. It brings it down, but this set is so gorgeous. The build is beautiful. It's got so many awesome references and details, and it's like, it's exactly what I wanted out of a giant sort of modular Sanctum. It's beautiful. By far, it's the best Marvel set of the year and belongs in modern art. I am so excited for the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. I love James Gunn. I love what he's done with the Guardians, and overall, this advent calendar really just feels kind of disappointing. I love the fact that you get all of the Guardians. Like, I think that's great. Overall, it does take away some of the exclusivity from the Benatar, but look, at the end of the day, I don't really care. Drax's skin color, yes, I guess it's technically more accurate to what James Gunn says, but it doesn't look right. Like, he looks like he's gonna throw up, and I'm not a huge fan of that. The Christmas sweaters are really cute. Like, really, that's my favorite part of it. But the rest of the builds, like, they just feel really lackluster and really weak. But it's not awful, so I'm gonna throw it in the middle. Now, lastly, we've got the last two Black Panther sets, and of course I'm gonna save the big one for last, and let's talk about the 4+ set. The build just looks so awkward, and like, I don't know what 4-year-old would have like a lot of fun with this. I don't know, it's going at the bottom. And then lastly, of course, we've got the Black Panther bust, which I remember when I saw this for the first time, and I just sort of sat there and I was like, please tell me this is a joke. I think a lot of this comes down to the price point. Overall, I think the build, at least for the bust and like the head itself, looks really good. I think the designer did a great job in designing it. I think it looks great. But overall, whoever pitched this idea for this price point, I don't know what you were thinking. I don't think it's justified at all. I think if you took the hands off it and overall, you know, just like made it slightly smaller and decreased that price point, I think this would go down a lot better. But like the hands like stick out far too much, and like overall it's just very plain because it's a lot of black. It really doesn't excite me at all. Honestly, I'm glad in a way because it means I'm not gonna have to buy it because it's just ridiculously expensive. I'm not gonna want to buy it, but also I'm just like, if you put that up against the Sanctum, how is the bust gonna sell? How do they expect it to sell? I don't know. It's a really tall ask. I can't imagine this is going to sell well at all. I'm not a fan. I'm not buying it. I'm sure the build process is like interesting somewhat, but just why did we need this? You already know where it's gonna go. So that is my ranking of all of the LEGO Marvel sets from its flop era. Look, this year has been really disappointing for LEGO Marvel. I'm interested to see what we get next year, but like with my current attitude and feeling towards like, I guess the MCU content that we've been getting, plus the LEGO sets not being overall that great or that interesting in my personal opinion, I can see myself just like leaning far more into Star Wars like I have been this year, next year, instead of buying LEGO Marvel. Like at this point, I'm just buying the minifigures that I want and then like a couple of sets, and like, you know, it's fine, but it's really disappointing after what was such a great year last year. So I hope that, you know, in the future they can switch this around, but we'll just have to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts on the entire 2022 LEGO Marvel wave. What are you thinking about the sets? Which do you think is the worst? And which do you think is the best? And what are you thinking that it's gonna be like next year? And if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel down below. And until next time, I'll see you later.